Welcome to the Live Abundantly show, where we talk about important things, not important things, and things I just want to talk about. So I am so excited to have my new co-host. She's gorgeous and amazing, Bree. So let me tell you a little bit about Bree. My son is dating her, and I want him to marry her because I want her to be my daughter-in-law because I adore her, and she's everything I could ever want or hope for in a daughter-in-law. So y'all pray for that to happen. Okay, little shameless plug. It's my show. I can ask people for, prayers. Okay, so Bree, this is really cool because obviously you represent a different generation than I do. So I'm only to be fabulous and 30 all over again, but I'm not. I am officially in my 50s.
Right.
So, there's the I'm 50 moment, and then there's I'm in my 50s. So that's where I live now.
I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, which is really amazing, and I love it.
Yeah.
So just keep looking forward. Things are still really wonderful, a few decades in front of you. But I thought it'd be fun to have conversations about women and just where we're dealing with maybe the same issues, but from different perspectives.
Yes.
And just see what happens. So in the last, now it's been like a week and a half total, I've spent time with two of my favorite women on the planet who are both in their 70s. And they are fabulous and thriving and beautiful and vibrant, full of life women. And that is so inspiring to me because, I don't know, when I was like your age, I thought 70-year-old people were about to die, okay? I just assumed that anyone that was 70 was like mostly in bed, like maybe watching soap operas or something during the day. Like I had this picture of 70 that was nothing like the women that I am like watching in their 70s.
That's hilarious.
So one of the ladies, her name is Janet. Janet can beat all of us on a tennis court still. Like she is so fit.
Love that.
She's in better shape than I am, and I want to be her. So I need to get started on like her path if I want to be her at 70. But she's just incredible. Like she has stewarded her body, soul, and spirit for 70 something years
Right.
to produce something that is so beautiful and solid. Okay. Then there's Barbara. She's so fabulous. So she's also in her 70s.
Wow.
And I'm sitting with her over lunch, and I'm like catching up because we haven't seen each other in a while. And I'm like, what are you doing right now, Miss Barbara? And she's like, oh, I'm leading the, prayer team at church, and I'm writing another book. And I was like, what? Like, these are not small things.
Yeah, yeah.
And she is just living her life with such passion. And
I love that.
it's just really inspiring to me. And so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about is like, what do we, as you're 30, I'm 50-ish
Yep.
now. And as you think about aging, like, how do you see yourself in 20 years and 40 years? Have you even thought about that far down the road?
Right. Yeah, I definitely have.
Okay. I think I was in
hoping-
survival brain. I was never really thinking about anything other than I'm going to be old and dying at that point.
Yeah. No, at one point, like growing up, I would always think about like getting older, and there's always like a hard block. For some reason, I couldn't get past a certain point. Like I would think about up to like 20, but I wouldn't be able to think further than that. It was like, it was too far away, or it felt too far away. But eventually, like you get to 20 and then 25, and then you start to think about like, okay, I want to get older, but I want to be able to like enjoy it. I don't want to be old and like not be able to walk and just in pain all the time. So it's really important to like steward your body and just take care of it so that by the time you get to 70, you could be playing tennis or hopefully for me, pickleball. Because
Yes.
I've seen a lot of people in their 60s and 70s like out there playing pickleball better than I can. And so I think that for me is something that has kickstarted me into really being like not only looking at what I'm eating, but also making sure that I'm staying active even when I don't feel like it. You know, whereas like when I was in my 20s, I feel like I was able to like have a day where I can just not do anything. But now I don't feel good after doing that. Like it doesn't make me feel good after like sitting in bed for hours. Like I actually would feel really terrible. So
I agree. At my age, if you do that, your body starts hurting because you sat too long or you laid still too long. It just doesn't feel good. So your body tells you to get up and get moving.
shake your arms.
Yes. I think too, like one thing I think is really powerful is that what's happening in our soul can have more impact on our physical well-being than sometimes even what we're eating.
Right.
And I think sometimes we can be focused on just our physical, but we're not seeing the impact of like our thought life on our physical well-being.
Right.
And it's so interconnected. And so I feel like it's all. It's stewarding our spirit,
Right.
stewarding our soul, which is our thoughts, our emotions, our relationships, all those kind of dynamics are in the soul. And then also like from that place stewarding our physical body in a way that we're in tune with it. We're not just forcing it and pushing our body, without checking in with it, but we're also not just letting it deteriorate because, I'm just getting older. So, just accepting, I guess, those things. But it's so connected, all three parts of us, that we can't just focus on one and not the other, because it's all going to affect how we show up, So I could have like this awesome physical, appearance of being in shape. But if my soul and my spirit are in chaos, then more than likely my physical body may look a certain way, but it's not feeling or operating.
Right. That makes sense.
In alignment. So
it's interesting because it's like you can tell your physical body when it is aging. You can tell like, is it normal? Like, is it aging normally but with your spirit and your soul and your heart, you can't really tell what kind of condition it's in other than how your state of being is, which is interesting because like sometimes like with your nervous system, if something's off, you'll see things happen. Like maybe you'll get like gray hairs that you didn't see before, or maybe you're having issues sleeping, and only you would really know that.
Right.
Other people can't really see that for you. So I think that's a good point, is just to make sure you're taking care of that as well as your physical body, because like, is that aging well? Is your soul aging well?
Right.
Or at least in the same pace as your body? Because sometimes when you go through really tough stuff, it ages you. Like when they talk about people having an old soul, they're like little babies, and it's like that poor kid. Like what have they been through?
Yes.
Because you can, or just in general, having that life experience and being able to share it with other people too. So I think those things are really important when it comes to like aging and thinking about it from 30 rather than when I was younger. Like I didn't think I'd ever get older. I didn't think I would.
I never even thought about it. Like I said, I just kind of was living in the moment. I didn't really have futuristic thinking.
Yeah.
But that's also just connected to survival mode. Like you don't have futuristic thinking. You're just trying to survive the moment you're in. And then when I did happen to glance up and see old people, they just looked like they were dying to me. And so I was like, oh, well, by that time I'll probably be dead.
So all 70-year-olds to you look like the grandfather from Willy Wonka.
I was like, yes, like they're in nursing homes. They're not doing well. Like that's what I pictured. And these women are inspiring as heck, and I just want to spend time with them because they have a wisdom that is not pretentious. It is just, I have lived life and I know. And so when they speak, I am hanging on every word they say.
Right.
And so I just encourage every woman, like, you have someone older than you in your life, and just be a sponge. Like, be intentional, be proactive, go pursue them, to spend time with them.
Yeah.
Ask them. One of the ladies that I spent time with, I just asked her, what does your relationship with God look like now on just a weekly basis? You know, because in every season it can change. And so I wanted to know, in 20 years from now, what is that going to look like? Spend time with older ladies, and they will refresh your soul in a way that no one else could, you know?
Yeah, I love that. I think it's a gift to have people in your life that are older than you and have experienced more. I remember my grandmother, she was just so wise, but also she didn't care like what anyone else thought in her age, and she got to be like in 79, but at that age she just didn't care about like what anyone else thought, or like she had her own opinions and she had her own like way of living. And I think that's really funny too, is because you get to the point where like you're 70 and you finally know what you want.
Yeah.
It would be nice to know that at 20.
Wouldn't it?
Or 30 at least.
I know. I tell people, your 20s, you're just like launching into real life, and you are flying around like, I have not one clue what's going on. I don't know who I am. I don't know where I fit. I don't know where I belong. 30s, you're like, okay, I'm going to figure out my identity, my purpose, because I want my life to be meaningful.
Yeah.
40s, you're at a place of going, I know who I am and I'm good with myself. Like, I always want to be growing and improving, but I like who I am.
Yeah.
50s, you don't care anymore what other people think. Like, I really don't. And it's hilarious to me because sometimes I'll read the comments that people make about my videos and they're just like blasting me. And it literally makes me laugh because I'm just like, that's hilarious. Like, you took the time to type that up and it actually was humorous to me. And so I don't care though. I don't need approval anymore.
Right.
And I have a friend who's amazing, Kim, which you know.
Yeah.
She's incredible. She's in her 60s. And I was like, Kim, what is it like in your 60s? And she goes, I do whatever I want. I was like, that's brilliant. I cannot wait to be 60. And then you look at these women who are in their 70s, and I'm like, okay, tell me what that's like. And this is what's so beautiful. Both of these women are like, at this point, what you care about is what you're leaving behind, the legacy that you are leaving. And so they're just pouring into anyone who's willing to receive from them. And I think that's so beautiful. So every stage of womanhood, I think, is really fun and exciting, and it's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's part of what, you know, aging is such a struggle for women, because we carry this value for beauty and youth and vibrancy. And I think for me, on my journey with aging and wrestling with beauty and what I could do versus what I'm choosing to do or not do,
Yeah.
I just feel like aging is, it's a story. It's a unique story that every woman has. And you know, we've had this discussion, like, I'm not doing any surgeries or fillers, or I'm just like seeing what happens if I don't.
Yeah.
So, you know, we'll see what the journey ends up looking like. But I feel like but my life, this aging process that I'm in, I'm holding stories and testimonies, and my age reflects that.
Right.
And I feel like if I looked like I was, you know, 30 or 20 or something instead of my actual age, like, you're missing out on the stories that I hold, you know, by trying to strive for something that's still youthful.
Right.
You know, there's something, I think, really beautiful about the aging process, and just being at the stage of life I'm actually in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I remember, like, knowing that you have those kind of values of not wanting to have any kind of plastic surgery or anything. Like, for me, I've gone back and forth with, will I or won't I? Because I was, in the last few years, I've been at the age of trying to decide, like, is this like, am I going to be doing this? Or even preventative, like I'm already
Right.
too late for preventative, but like, I'm really glad that I've held out on that, because I think, like, I see now people that are in their like 50s or 60s that it's interesting, like they have a look to them, but it doesn't look like their 20s or their 30s, and it doesn't look like their 50s or 60s. It's just a separate look now.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it's this category of people from like 20s to 50s. They all look the same.
Yeah.
Like, weirdly, but so it's like, it's weird. It's like they're not really even trying to look younger. They're just trying to look different.
Right. Right.
So it's not like you look younger. You don't look like you're 25.
No.
You don't even look like you're 55. You look like, except like, and you lose that, because like you could have looked your best. Like, what is the best you could look at that age?
Yeah.
Is the best that you can look. If you try to look something different, like either you're gonna feel weird or different because other people are gonna look at you and they're gonna know that you've had stuff done.
Right.
And maybe you don't care about that, and maybe it's just, you really just want to look in the mirror every day and feel good for yourself. But for me, like, that would be, like, if I was like 60 walking around and people were always like just assuming I've had work done, because there's no way that I could possibly look that way or have certain like qualities about me, like, that wouldn't make me happy. It would actually make me uncomfortable, because it would be like, you're not really like taken seriously. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's a real battle for women, and I it's easier when you just kind of make a decision and you stick to it. It's just kind of easy for me. I don't even think about it. Which is a lot of probably freedom. And then I have friends that have had so many different things done, and that's what they chose to do. And I feel like, though, for me, I just am like, I just want to walk this out in a way that, I'll have to struggle with all of the things of, okay, well, these things are not like they used to be. And I'll have to struggle with that. But that, to me, is part of just letting that inner beauty just keep coming forth, and the value that I carry being even more life-giving, as I age, because that's what I experienced with these older women. It was more about what they are carrying and pouring into you that is of value than what they look like. And yet there's nothing more beautiful than a woman in her prime, like, on the face of the earth. It's just such stunning beauty that women carry. And so it's a real struggle. And I just think, for women that are battling that at your age and at my age, what I just want to encourage is that just don't get into the comparison piece. Really feel like, in your own soul, what is it that I want to do in walking out aging and struggling with what is beauty at this phase of life. But don't go into the comparison and then measure yourself against others and feel like that means you have to make a decision based off of that. Make the decision that for you allows you to be who you want to be and how you want to show up. And for me, I'm just going to keep on with this natural aging thing, and we'll see where I land.
I completely agree, and I love that.
That was a fun girl talk. I've been doing girl talk by myself, so it was fun to do it with someone else. Now we're going to transition into the get after it stage of the Live Abundantly show. And I love this because I love trying to walk out the combination of being feminine and also highly productive, because I want those two things to fit together in a really beautiful way. And so I love sharing every week just one little piece of my week that I felt like was significant, and hopefully it'll inspire and help other people. So I'll share with you. I had the opportunity this week to get in front of a potentially very, very high value client. I was able to do a little bit of a proposal for this potential client. And if I were able to work with this client, it would be huge for my company, and I was super excited about it.
That's awesome.
And this is what it made me think about, though, is that when we have these opportunities, we don't even know when they're going to come.
Right.
These are things I could not have predicted when this might happen. I've been wanting it to happen, but I had no idea when it might happen.
Right.
And, there's the preparation of like, I want to show up and do my best. I want to highlight what we do really well, showcase everything in an excellent manner.
Right.
But what I realized is that the preparation comes in all of the years, literally years leading up to a moment when you are in front of someone that could be potentially a really amazing client for you. And how we're stewarding every decision, every product that we're creating along the way, how we're stewarding that with excellence is what prepares us actually for the moment that we are in front of someone, that's a high value client potentially.
Right.
And so it just really hit me that it's the daily commitment that I'm making that I can show up in a moment with confidence and peace in front of someone that represents potentially a lot for us, and have no like struggle or insecurities or anything like that. And it wasn't because I felt, like I worked all week getting ready for this one proposal. I had been getting ready for years.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's just, I just wanted to say to the people that are like, I don't know when I'm ever going to get a break, or, when am I going to have a chance to get in front of someone that could change things for me?
Mm-hmm.
Like that, we never know when that's going to happen. But how you show up every single day and steward your little baby company or whatever it is that you're stewarding, that is what is going to ultimately get you in front of people.
Yeah.
And when you get there, you will be ready because you've been preparing actually for years for that one moment.
Right. I love that. It's like you don't have to get ready because you just stay ready, and it's also who you are. Like you don't have to like turn on, like flip a switch and become somebody else that somebody would want to maybe work with or hire. That's just who you are. So when you show up like that, it comes naturally because that's just naturally what happens. So and I think for that is just important because people, when they meet you, some people have bad days, but it could be the day that you've been waiting for, and you decide that you're going to let like how you feel that day dictate how you dress or how you show up, and then you miss out on an opportunity because you weren't ready.
Wow.
And I think about that a lot because there's times when you could just stay home and miss out on a huge opportunity in your life. But staying ready and also become like picking out who you want to be and then staying on track to become that person so that when you show up, you're just that person consistently. Other people will know who they're actually, getting to work with or meeting the first time. They're not surprised like the next time they meet you, like, oh, she seems a little off or different. So
that's so good. That is rich. I love that.
Yeah, I love what you said. I think that's important to think about and consider, like, not to prepare all week for one big thing, but just to continuously just prepare because you could be working towards something that you're looking over here for when it's like it's waiting for you right here. So I think that's a good point that you made.
Yeah, and I just want to, remind people that it's those daily habits that you are investing in yourself because you are your greatest asset. And when you're not sacrificing that, but you're showing up every day, investing in yourself, then the opportunities are actually pretty easy when you're in the moment because you're, like you said, you're ready for it. You stayed ready.
Yeah.
So.
It seems like sometimes like when you're happy or you have a good mood and you go out, better things happen to you than when you're not in a good mood.
Yes, that's so true.
But it's like it's because you like radiate positivity, so
Yeah.
it comes back to you, you know. A lot of people, you're more open for someone to approach you with an opportunity or something that, you know, is what you've been waiting for, but you wouldn't have gotten that if you would have showed up a different way. So
It's true. So yeah, everybody just keep showing up and getting after it.
yes.
It's going to happen. And say prayers for us to land this huge
Get
client.
after it.
Yeah, get after it. I love it. But in a feminine way. Okay, so next, we have a hot topic for today. This is the glow up section. Turns out, Bree, that there was an article I got to read this week that is revealing how younger women are leaving the church in like a higher percentage than ever before, which is kind of shocking, honestly, that it's the young women that are leaving the organized church. So I just want to know, let's see here. We have a whole quote. In the baby boom generation, 57% of people who disaffiliated were men, while only 43% were women. Gen Z adults have seen this pattern flip. 54% of Gen Z adults who left their formative religion are women, and only 46% are men.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is something I just wanted to talk about because I'm like, okay, I just thought, all right, why? Why are younger women making this choice? So I want to hear your thoughts as a younger woman, and then I'll give my 2 cents as an older woman weighing in on the younger women leaving.
Okay, sounds good. I would say the first thing that comes to my mind, and it's kind of like, there's no offense to this, but like maybe they're just going to a different church because there's no Christian men there. Because like I know a lot of women go to church for that reason, and they'll go to different churches until they find like potential, which is kind of sad, but because it's not like exactly the right reasons of going to church.
Well, it's not the wrong reason. You need to find a Christian man.
So maybe that's why. It's because they're maybe like they're church hopping.
Yeah, potentially.
That's the first thing that comes to my mind. But it is surprising to hear, other than it being they're trying to find someone to date and they can't, so they move on, because it doesn't seem like women are unhappy in the church that I know of. So
That's kind of
yeah,
interesting.
the only other thing I could think of is if they're younger, that maybe they're in college and maybe they're getting like influenced out of church.
So I'm going to share a verse because I think it's really important. One of my thoughts is that I don't think that older women are mentoring younger women anymore and discipling them in the church. And in Titus 2:3-5, it says that older women similarly are to be reverent in their behavior, not malicious gossips, not addicted to too much wine, teaching what is right and good, so that they may encourage the young women to tenderly love their husbands and their children, to be sensible, pure, makers of a home where God is honored, good nature, being subject to their own husbands, so that the word of God will not be dishonored. So I think one thing is that there just hasn't been that discipling of this younger generation of why like having this in your life is even important.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I thought about, is that there's a lack of discipleship from the older women. There's a disconnect from the older generation to the younger generation in a lot of ways, because we're very independent and siloed. The second thing I was thinking about is that we have been presented with a pretty limited picture of what being a Christian woman is really about. So my experience in church is that women fill the majority of the volunteer roles in a church. And men are primarily the ones that have the paid positions, right? But in the world, that's not the case anymore. For the most part, you have 2-income families, like everybody's working. And so then you have women who are working full-time jobs, and yet they're still expected to carry that heavy volunteer burden in the church, because it's just always been the women that are volunteering. And so you're You're raising your young children, you're trying to be a wife, you're trying to have your career, and then you're trying to fill 15 different volunteer positions at church. And so rather than church being a place where you get encouraged and filled back up for all the ways you're pouring out, it's actually another place that you are exhausted. And so I think that the picture that we've given is kind of limiting in the fact that it's like, this is what we have available for you. Here's all the volunteer opportunities for women. And you don't really see a lot of men volunteering in a lot of different roles. I mean, there may be some that are like greeters or parking lot, but for the most part, everything inside is happening by, in my experience, the women. So I think they're kind of exhausted of that view. And I also feel like we're very relational beings. And so the modern church experience can sometimes be very void of the connection and the relational aspect. We kind of come and stare at the back of people's heads, and we have our thing, and we do our worship, we listen to a sermon, but the relational piece can be missing. And so I feel like if women were given that place where they could really have the relational connection, be discipled, have time to be poured into, not just another place to serve, that would be very appealing, I think, to this younger generation of women. So those are some of my thoughts. I also just feel like that some women are they've had church abuse or hurt. They've been disillusioned by some of the leaders that have fallen, and they're just kind of like, okay, how is this even any different than the world? And so I think that affects women. Definitely. For sure. And then lastly, I just feel like we've kind of turned church into its own form of a business in a lot of ways. Sorry, there's a net. We've kind of turned church into a business. And again, that model is not relational. It's not going to create that intimacy. And so I don't have any idea why they're actually leaving, but those are the thoughts that when I read that came to my mind. That if we could create a place where women are valued, they're not just feeling like they're being used. There's a place where they're being intentionally poured into and experiencing connection and relationship. And it's a safe place, where we're not just going to cover up and allow for abuse of power and things like that. I think that they would come back.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I think those are my thoughts.
Church hurt is a good. That's a big one.
Hey everyone, I am Carrie Grace. I am an entrepreneur and a femininity coach, and today I'm taking my femininity quiz to just see where I rate right now with my own femininity. By the way, the link to this quiz is in the description below if you want to follow along and take it as well. First question, how connected do you feel to your feminine side right now? I'm just beginning to explore what that even means. I'm starting to notice and embrace it more each day. I feel confident in expressing my femininity and how I live and lead. It feels like second nature. I live deeply rooted in it. I'm going to go with 3. I feel confident in expressing my femininity and how I live and lead. I definitely still want it to become second nature for me. When it comes to self-care or nurturing yourself, how do you show up? I often forget or feel guilty about making time for myself. That was definitely me for like 4.5 decades of my life. I'm learning to prioritize it, even in small ways. I make space for rest, beauty, and things that nourish me regularly. Self-care is part of my rhythm. It flows from a place of honor and joy. Okay, once again, I'm going to go with 3 because I feel like I still have room to improve on that. But I'm very intentional now with rest, with allowing myself to experience beauty and the things that nourish me. So I've come a long way. Okay, how would you describe your confidence in being a woman? I struggle to see value in my femininity. I'm beginning to embrace femininity more fully. I'm comfortable in my feminine identity and carry it with ease. I walk confidently in my womanhood and love encouraging others to do the same. Yes, for sure. I love sharing with other people about femininity because it changed my life. So I'm definitely in that category on that one. How do you respond to beauty, whether in yourself, others, or your environment? Number one, I don't often think about beauty and struggle to see it in myself. I'm learning to recognize and appreciate beauty more intentionally. I value beauty and try to create it in the way I dress, live, and care for others. Beauty is something I carry and cultivate everywhere I go. I'm going to go with the last one. I'm kind of all about it at this point in my life, which I think is kind of cool being 51, and I'm just now at a place of really, truly just wanting to carry beauty and cultivate beauty everywhere I go. All right, how do you approach your emotions and inner world? I tend to avoid or suppress them. I'm learning to acknowledge and process them. I give myself permission to feel and use emotions to connect with others. I've cultivated emotional awareness and use it as a strength. This is another category where I have done a lot of work and growth. I definitely used to avoid and suppress, and now I am cultivating emotional awareness pretty consistently. Okay, how would you describe your ability to receive, whether that be help, love, compliments, or rest? It's hard for me. I feel more comfortable giving. I'm learning to open up and allow myself to receive. I receive with more ease and see it as part of being whole. I've learned that receiving is essential to living fully and flowing freely. Yes, I'm definitely in that category. I did not know the importance of receiving for many years of my life, and now I love it because it just gives me more abundance to give to others. What does your connection to purpose or calling look like right now? I'm unsure of what I'm called to and still searching. I'm starting to sense it and take small steps forward. I'm walking in it and growing more confident as I go. I'm deeply rooted in my purpose and helping others rise in theirs too. That's what I love. This is a fun journey though. So wherever you are in that part, just embrace it and enjoy it. How would someone describe your presence in a room? Quiet or unsure. I often try to blend in. I don't think anybody would describe me as quiet. Warm and kind, though still finding my voice. Confident and graceful. I bring a steady presence. Grounded and inspiring. I carry peace and purpose. I'm going to go with confident and graceful. I think I'm at that point right now. Pretty steady, but I definitely have still some room to grow. When it comes to relationships, how do you show up? Number one, I struggle with boundaries or expressing my needs. I'm learning how to be more authentic and vulnerable. I value deep connection and bring honesty and care. I lead with love, set healthy boundaries, and invest intentionally. Wow. I'm going to go with the third one. I value deep connection and I bring honesty and care. This is a place where I had a long struggle with knowing how to show up authentically. I was kind of a people pleaser. Not kind of, I was full blown a people pleaser. What role does femininity play in your everyday life? I don't think much about it. It feels unfamiliar or distant. Nope. I'm starting to explore how to live more in tune with it. I express it through how I dress, relate, and carry myself, or it's at the heart of how I live, love, lead, and create. Yes, for sure. Femininity changed my life, and so I am very focused and intentional to live from that place, I think, in every area of my life. Okay, so I'm going to submit in order to see my results. Okay, awesome. I am flourishing. That's good news since I'm leading the cohort groups. My current stage is you are thriving in who you are. At this stage, you are connected to your femininity and enjoy exploring all aspects daily. You feel alive and fully present consistently in your life, and others are impacted by your warmth. You have a burning desire to share your journey of femininity with others. That is all very true. This is a season of overflow. Your roots go deep and your life reflects purpose, peace, and beauty. You lead with love, nurture with strength, and create space for others to grow to. You're not just growing, you're blooming wide open. So that's really cool. If you enjoyed that, click the link in the description below and take the quiz for yourself and see where you're at on your own feminine journey. Also, the wait list is open right now to join our feminine cohort groups. So grab your spot. I would love to meet with you there. Okay, this is going to be fun, Bree. So what we're doing next, we're going to make a tier list of all of the best rom-coms that exist, okay? And Bree and I get to decide the order in which they should stand for all time, okay? We get to decide this, and I'm sure everyone will just be like, of course, they were right about their tier list. Okay, so you ready for this? Okay, awesome.
I'm ready.
Okay, what is our first movie? He's just not that into you, okay? For some reason, there's a block for us on this movie, okay? He's just not that into you. All right, how are we gonna rank this one, Bree?
I think that's one of the better ones, right?
I'm gonna put it in like tier 2
Yeah.
because I think it's very educational. I think that women should force themselves to watch this movie if they are wondering about a guy. Just watch the movie. It'll answer your questions. A. We're putting it as an A, okay? Okay, the next one is Pretty Woman.
That's a good one.
I mean, it's good. I just feel an internal conflict based on my work with women who have been sexually exploited for the last, like 15 years. But nevertheless, I watched it so many times that it would actually fast forward on its own in its VHS form in certain parts of the movie. Because I had fast forwarded so many times in that part of the movie. So I feel like it's gonna, we're gonna put it at tier 2. What do you think? Can it sit beside?
I agree.
Okay, tier 2.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. What is this one?
She's All That.
She's All That.
And I honestly haven't seen that one.
Oh, okay. It's a good one. I'm gonna put it at the tier 3.
Okay.
Just trust me. It's a tier 3.
I trust you with that.
Yeah. Okay, The Proposal.
Okay, that's a good one. I like that one a lot.
Where do you want to place that one?
That's a tough one. I would say probably in the same tier as Pretty
Woman? Okay, tier 2. Up it goes. 27 Dresses, tier 1 for me.
I haven't seen that one, so I'll trust you on that.
You have to. She's always the bridesmaid. She has 27 bridesmaids dresses.
No, I haven't seen it. I've heard of it.
You have to watch it. Okay, tier 1. Trust me. Tier 1.
No, I trust you with that.
Okay,
I've
next.
heard it a lot. Just go with it. That's a good one. I would say tier 1.
Okay, tier 1 for just go with it.
I like Adam Sandler.
I know, his movies are really good. Okay, what is the next one? I can't see the title.
License to Wed, the Robin Williams.
Oh yeah, Robin Williams.
John Krasinski.
It's pretty funny.
And the other lady that nobody remembers.
He's like a priest, and yeah, it's
I haven't seen that
funny.
one either, but
Tier 2.
I trust you.
I like rom-coms. I don't know if any of them are going to go in the bottom tiers. I don't know if anyone's picked up on this, okay? We have no bottom tiers. 50 First Dates, tier 1.
Yeah, it is.
Has to be, okay?
I agree.
It's so good. Adam Sandler with the rom-coms,
He's so
okay?
good
With
at
the rom-coms. Adam Sandler. It's just that the story is like brilliant that they even came up with this concept. I love it so much. Okay, Hitch.
Yeah, haven't seen that one.
What? Bree! Okay, we're gonna have to have like a rom-com weekend extravaganza, okay?
Definitely.
Hitch is tier 1.
I believe
It's
that.
so good. Oh my gosh, just for the
Might
dance
watch
scene.
it sometime soon.
We're gonna watch it. It's so good. He's like trying to coach up these men to be able to get these like amazing, beautiful women, and they're kind of like just the average Joes. So good. Okay, No Reservation.
I haven't seen that one.
I have. I'm gonna put it at tier 3. It's good, but like it's also sad. So for a rom-com, I don't want to be that sad.
Yeah.
But it has good, like they're chefs, and so I like food.
Yeah.
And movies makes me happy. Okay, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
That's a good one. I would say top.
I do too. Yeah, it's such genius.
It's very good. I love that movie. honestly.
The plant, the love plant. I cannot with the writing. It was so good. Okay,
The Holiday.
Holiday is in a category all of its own. It is my favorite.
Yeah,
It has everything, okay? From LA to England to Christmas, like, it has all the elements.
Right.
Can we say that? It has
What?
Jude Law.
Oh, Jude Law. Yeah.
It's a great,
Uh-huh.
it goes up above all the others.
And the soundtrack,
It's amazing. I listen to it all the time.
so good.
You know, if I had a soundtrack playing in the background of my life, that would be on it. It would just be playing. It kind of is all the time. Okay, we have
Yes. I
created,
feel good about that list.
I feel really good about it, and there's nothing in the bottom. So that's okay because we like these movies genuinely.
Yeah.
And forevermore, this will be the ranking of these movies because Bree and Carrie have voted. It
The new
stands.
Rotten Tomatoes.
It is.